Hey everyone, welcome to SFDC Stop, and in this video we are going to talk about lightning record form. Okay, so lightning record form is another type of form in case of LWC, which is using lightning data service to get the data and to update the data and to create the data as well. Okay, so this record form is basically different from lightning record view form and record edit form that we have learned earlier, because in this type of form you don't specify the number of fields or the layout of fields yourself. If you remember, in case of edit form and view form, we were using lightning input fields and lightning output fields under the record edit form and record view form tag to specify the various type of fields, right? But here you don't specify the fields, it automatically do the rendering for you. Okay, so let's learn about this form. First of all, this form has basically three modes: edit mode, view mode, and read only mode. Okay, so in case of edit mode, it will automatically open the record in a editing state. For example, this one here, this mode I can consider it as an edit mode because it is automatically open for editing. And in case you want to view it in view mode, it is also possible. So view mode is basically the mode that we have in a standard layout. For example, this is a standard contact layout, and this you can consider it as a view mode of lightning record form because it has a pencil icon using which you can switch to the edit mode. So a view mode is something which is particularly using which you can view a record, but you can directly switch to the edit mode as well. Apart from this, it has a read only mode as well. So read only mode is similar to what we have learned in lightning record view form, in which we can view the record, but we have no option to edit that particular record. Okay, for example, I can show you. So yeah, this is the view mode that we have learned in the previous video where we created this form, which was lightning record view form. So you don't have any option to edit any kind of field. Okay, so this is a kind of view mode, you can say, or read only mode, you can say, I should say, not view, but it is read only. Okay, so in case you have specified a record ID, the lightning record form will update that particular record, and instead, if you haven't specified a record ID, it will create a new record. Okay, and apart from this, it has two layout types. Now, why this record form has layout types? Because we are not specifying the positioning of the fields ourselves, right? We are not using any kind of lightning input or lightning output fields here, so we are not specifying the positioning ourselves, and we don't know that which fields do this layout form render. So that is why it is having two kind of layout types: full layout or compact layout. In case of full layout, it will render all the fields that are present in your layout, and in case of compact layout, it will render only the fields that are present in your compact layout. That is the fields that you can see over here at the top. Okay, some people have this question while they are using lightning record form, that which particular layout is will be used while rendering the record form, because in case of your org you can have multiple layouts for an object, right? So which particular layout will be used by default, because there is no option to specify a particular layout ID or something using which you can check which layout is being rendered. So the answer to that question is that the layout which is specified, or I can say allocated to the profile of the logged in user, that layout will be used and will be rendered in the lightning record form. So in case you are using a record form, be mindful of the thing that the layout which is assigned to your profile, that is the profile of the logged in user, will be used while using full or compact layout. So I can write it here that layout assigned to profile will be used. Okay. Okay, so there are five events that are fired in this particular form. So you are already aware of error event, which is fired automatically when there is a server error. You are aware of load event, which is fired automatically in different conditions, like when the form is loaded, record ID is loaded, okay, or the record list is updated. So we have learned about these events in the previous videos. There is a submit event as well, which is fired when a form is submitted automatically. There is a success event as well, which is fired when the record is created or updated successfully. So we have learned about these four events in the previous video as well, so I'm not going to repeat these. But we have a fifth event here, which is known as a cancel event. So this event is automatically fired whenever a user clicks on the cancel button, because we are not specifying any kind of layout here. If you remember, in case of lightning record edit form, we ourselves created the cancel button and a save button as well, but we don't have any kind of cancel button and save button in the code here. These are rendered for us automatically. So whenever you are clicking this cancel button, it will automatically fire a cancel event using which you can perform an operation if you want to do so. The last thing and the most important thing that we need to take care of while using these kinds of forms or even Lightning Data Service, that event and task objects are not supported in Lightning Data Service. So please take care of this thing. Okay, so before jumping onto the code, let's see our contact form in action. First of all, I'm just going to create a test contact very quickly. Uh, Test contact, and then let's do it like this, and test contact at the rate salesforce.com, and then code is 9090. Okay, let's see. So the test contact should be created now, and you can see here that the test contact is created and it has automatically set up the ID of my record which I have just created in this particular record form. Okay, and it has switched from the edit mode to the view mode. So the modes that we talked about earlier, that edit mode, view mode, and read only mode. So this is the view mode in which you have the pencil icons using which you can edit a particular record. Okay, this is the view mode. Okay, so my contact record is created and I can check it in my org as well. Let me just go to the contacts list and I should have a contact named as test contact. Okay, so this is a test contact that I have just created, right? Okay, so this is how my contact form is working. Now let's have a look at the code, which is very simple. So in this code, I have used the lightning card with the title at contact form. You can see the title here. And after that, in the card body, I have used lightning record form. This lightning record form is having various attributes. The first attribute is object API name. You are well aware of this attribute. We have used it in the previous videos, right? So object API name is basically used to specify the API name of the object that you are going to use while creating your form. So here, if I check out the object name in my JS, it is nothing but contact object, and I'm getting this contact object from Salesforce schema contact. Either you can do it this way, that you can pick up the object name from the schema and you can assign it to a variable and you can use that variable over here, or you can directly specify the object name as contact or whatever the object name is. So if it's a custom object, let's say employee underscore underscore c, you can do it like this as well. Okay, the next attribute is the fields attribute. So fields attribute is basically used to specify the object fields, and this fields attribute is basically used when we are not using the layout type attribute. So as we talked about earlier, that we have two layout types, full and compact. So in case you are specifying a layout type, it will automatically pick the fields that are present in your layout. For example, if you have specified a layout type as full, it will automatically pick up all the fields that are present in your layout and it will display those fields. Okay, in case you have specified a layout type as compact, so in that case it will automatically pick up all the fields that are there in the compact layout and it will display those fields. But in case you haven't specified a layout type, you can specify the fields as well. So this fields is nothing but a list of fields that you want to display in your record form. So what I have done, I have binded this attribute to the object fields, which is a property in my JS. And if I go to object fields, you can see that I have binded my first name, last name, mobile phone, email, and code field here, right? And these fields I am getting from my schema. Like the first name is Salesforce slash schema slash contact dot first name, last name, mobile phone, email, and code. Okay. Either you can do it this way, that is, you can import those fields from the schema and you can just put it into an array or a list, and then you can specify the list here, or you can directly specify the fields yourself. So for example, if I just comment out this thing and I use this object fields array where I am specifying the first name, last name, that is the API name of all the fields that I want to render. So this is also fine. You can use any of the way, both will work. Okay. Cool. So let's move ahead and let's see what else we have. In the columns attribute, you can specify the number of columns that you want to use in your contact form. For example, here I'm dividing my data into two columns, right? So I have specified the columns as two. For example, if I just change it to three and I push my source, so it will update the columns to three and I'll have a three-column layout for my contact form. Okay. The next is the density attribute. We have already learned about it in the previous tutorials, that this density attribute is basically to lock the density of my form so that it doesn't changes whenever I'm changing the density of my org, right? So it will remain constant. So that is why I have specified it as config. And apart from that, we have five events that we talked about. First is a load event, cancel event, third is a submit event, fourth is a success event, and fifth is a error event. So on each type of event, I have binded a JS function, which I have defined here, like handle load, handle cancel, handle submit, handle success, and handle error. So we'll see what we can do in different type of events. But before that, let me just very quickly check out my org so that I can have a look at if I have 3 columns now or not, because I have changed the columns to 3, right? So here you can see now I have 3 columns. This is the first column, this is the second column, and this is the third column, right? But as you know that we have 2 fields down below, so that is why we are having just these 2 fields here. In case we have 3 fields that are also divided into 3 columns equally. So you can specify as many number of columns as you want in this column fields, and it will automatically render the fields in that particular columns. This is because we don't have much flexibility in specifying that which field should appear where. That is why we can specify the columns here. Okay. Now let's have a look at. First of all, I want to show you something that what are these fields containing? What is the information that these fields are having in it, and what is the information that this object is having in it? So I'm just going to console log this information here, and let me just uncomment everything so that we can see what we are getting in different events. Okay. So I'm just going to uncomment it quickly, and let's push it. Okay, so my source is pushed. Let me check the org. And here we can see that our contact form is back with 2 columns. And in the onload event, that is whenever my form is loaded, I have displayed the first name field and the contact object. So let's see what information we are getting in these. Okay, so on the onload event, we are getting a proxy and then 2 objects. Yeah, so this is the first name field and this is the contact object. Okay, so this is the first name field that we are getting right here. And let me just remove this form from the layout first of all, because it is creating some confusion. And because we are having console logs in this particular form as well. Let me just remove it quickly. Okay, so I have removed that form. And yeah, if we see now here that in case of onload event, before the event type I have displayed two objects, and before the event type I have displayed 2 objects. One is the first name field and second is the contact object. So in case of first name field, I am getting 2 attributes, field API name and object API name, and in case of the object I am getting single attribute, object API name. So this is the information that I am getting while importing these things from the schema. So in case you are not aware of these, you can just console.log them and check what you are getting. So in case of first name field or any kind of field, you are getting 2 attributes, field API name and object API name. And in case you are importing an object, you are getting just a single attribute, which is nothing but object API name. So either you can use these or you can directly specify the object name in the form itself in the HTML. Okay. Next, we have an event type, which is nothing but a load event. And after that, I have the JSON that we already discussed in the previous tutorial. So if you remember, we discussed different JSONs that we are getting. So in case of loaded, we are getting this type of JSON, and it is the same JSON that we are getting in case of record form. And we can just check this out, that what kind of information that we are getting out of this. Okay. And this event is called automatically whenever the form is loaded. Apart from that, I have other events as well. So let me just check the other events. Okay, so currently only the load event is called. Now let's do one thing. I'm going to fill it again very quickly. So let's say Rahul Malhotra and then 9999999 some random number, and then email sfdcstop.com and then code. Okay. Now what I'm going to check, I'm going to check the cancel event. So I'm just going to click on this cancel button, and here you can see my cancel event is called and my form is reset automatically. So you don't have to apply any kind of function here to reset your form. It is done automatically for you. And if I check out the event.type, it is coming as cancel. And in case of event.detail, I'm not getting anything. I'm getting it as null because I don't need any kind of detail here, right? So that is why it is coming as null. We don't need to perform any kind of we don't need any kind of information in case I'm canceling a form. Okay, now let's have a look at what is shown in the submit event. So I'm just going to fill the information again. Rahul Malhotra, some random number, email sftcstop.com, code, and I'm going to save it. Okay. Okay, so we have this kind of record already in the system. That is why I'm getting a duplicate alert. Now let's see what kind of functions are called. First of all, my handle submit is called. So I'm getting the event.type as submit. So if you see here, the event.type is submit. And the event.detail will have all the values that are passed when I'm submitting a form, right? So I'm getting a JSON here, which is nothing but the fields where we have the first name, last name, email, and code. So I'm getting the values of all the fields. This is the same JSON that we discussed in the previous tutorial. So if you remember, we discussed about this thing that when you are submitting a form, you are getting an object like this where you have all the fields along with their values. So we are getting the same fields in case of Lightning record form as well. Now let's just change it, because let's just change the email ID or first name or something to remove duplicacy, and then we'll save it again. But before that, let me have a look at the error function as well. So this handle error function is also called because we received the server error, and inside this error we are getting a message that an error occurred while trying to update the record, please try again, and then we are getting a detail as well, which is nothing but duplicate alert. Apart from this, we are getting some more information about the error that you can see here. Okay, so we have discussed this as well earlier, that in case of error you will get a object like this where you have a message, a detail, and then some more information about the error. Okay, so you can extract the information from this. For example, you want to show a toast as well, or you want to notify some other component whenever this error occurred. So you can just use this all this information and do anything that you like to do in JavaScript. Okay, now let me clear the console and I'm going to save this record. Okay, so the code is duplicated this time. Let me just enter something else and save it again. Yeah. So this time my record is saved successfully, and let's see what are all the functions that are called. First of all, my submit function is called, and because my submit event is fired, so I'm getting all the fields. Next, my success event is fired, and I'm getting the record ID of the newly created record here in the success information. So if you see the handle success, it is giving the event.type as success. I'm getting it as success, and in the event.detail, I'm getting a JSON which consists of all the information regarding my record. For example, the email value is nothing but rahul@sfdcstop.com. The first name is Rahul1, there are something else, and all the other information. The whole last name is Malhotra1 and all that stuff. Okay, so you are getting all the information about your record, which is recently being saved, and I can verify it in my org as well. Let me just copy the record ID, and I can check it here. Okay, so you can see that a new record is created here with the name as Rahul1 Malhotra1, and the other information that I entered are here. Okay, so first of all, my submit event is called, then my success event is called, and after that uh, my load event is called again, right? Because my form is loaded with the new information, so that is why my load event is fired again, and it is getting all the information that I just entered. Okay, and my load event is called twice this time. So it depends on the functionality that you submitted the form, so your load event is called, but your form also changes state. First of all, I mean, earlier it was in the edit mode, now it's in the view mode, right? So that is why it is possible that this load event is fired twice. Okay, yeah, so that's all for the Lightning record form. I hope you understood that how you can use the record form. You don't have much flexibility, like you cannot specify which field to appear where. And yeah, let me show you one more thing here, that how we can use a layout type attribute, because we were using only the fields attribute till now. Let me just show you the layout type. In case you are using both the layout type and the fields, the layout type will override the fields attribute in that case. So the record form won't consider the fields, but it will consider the layout type attribute if you have specified that. So let me just show you how the layout type renders the object form. Okay. Okay, so our code is pushed, and we can quickly refresh this page, and we can see here that our form is loaded with the whole layout that we have in our page layout. Okay, so this is the whole layout which is being used to display the form, right? This is the whole layout which is being used to display the form. So in case I have specified a layout type as full, it will display the whole page layout that is assigned to my profile. In case I have specified a layout type as compact, it will display the fields that are present in the compact layout. Let me just change it quickly to compact, and I'll push the source again and I'll display that. Okay, so my source is pushed. Let me just refresh it. And here you can see that, just let me refresh it again. Okay, I remember one thing, that in case you are creating a record, then even if you have specified a compact layout, only the full layout will be shown. Okay. So that doesn't matter that if you have specified the layout type as compact or full, but in case you are creating a new record, in that case only the full layout will be shown. For example, let's say I create a record as Gavin 3 and then Belson 3, and I specify a mobile number like this, and I think that's the only required fields. Okay, so let me just add a code as well. Okay, it's fine. And if I click on save, and here you can see that the record is created successfully, and this time a full layout is shown instead of a compact layout. But let me just specify record ID now. So if I just specify record hyphen ID is equal to nothing but some record ID, for example this, right? And let me just push it once again. And if I refresh the page, now I have specified a record ID there, right? So here you can see now we are getting a compact layout instead of a full layout. So in case you are creating a record, it doesn't matter which layout type you have specified, you will always get a full layout. But in case you are opening that form in an edit mode, that is when you have specified a record ID, you will get a compact layout if you have mentioned a layout type as compact. So just keep a note of it. And I can just verify that this is a compact layout because I'm having a name, I'm having a title, account name, phone. So title is there, account name is there, phone is there, and both the phone numbers, phone and mobile, should be there. So phone and mobile is also there. Apart from that, the email is there and honor is there, right? So email is there and honor is there. So this layout is the compact layout that I have in my org, which is being used. Okay. So if I just click on this edit icon, it will again open in the contact compact layout itself because I have the record ID set up here, right? So I can just make some changes and save this record again, and the title is updated, right? And I can check it here as well. If I just refresh this page, the title should be updated to 1 to 3. So title is updated to 1 to 3, right? So yeah, in case you are using a compact layout, it will just be applicable in case you have specified a record ID, and it won't come when you are creating a new record. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial, everyone. I hope you liked it. Let me know your feedback in the comments down below. All the code for this tutorial will be available in Lightning Data Service branch of my GitHub repository. And the GitHub repository is github.com/rahulmalhotra/salesforce LWC concepts. You can move on to this repository. You can move on to Lightning Data Service branch, and there you will find that component named as contact form. Okay, and I'll give you the link of this repository in the description as well, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll talk about some more advantages or how we can use Lightning Data Service apart from these forms, and we'll learn about some other things as well. Okay, so yeah, till then, have a good day. Bye bye.